The marble floor felt ice-cold against my knees as I scrubbed my sister's designer heels with my own shirt. The metallic taste of humiliation filled my mouth while my family watched like I was their personal entertainment. Mom's voice cut through the silence. "Scrub faster, servant. You're finally useful for something." Dad's beer bottle clinked as he raised it in a mock toast. "To our live-in maid." But what they didn't know was that this would be the last time I'd kneel for anyone. Because the girl they thought they'd broken was secretly building their destruction, one secret at a time. Living in my childhood home had become my personal hell. After losing my bookstore job, I'd been forced to move back in with my family. But instead of support, I found cruelty wrapped in silk ribbons and fake smiles. My sister Belle, the golden child with her modeling contracts and influencer lifestyle, treated me like hired help. Mom and Dad, they were the puppet masters, orchestrating my daily humiliation like it was primetime television. "You're breathing too loud," Belle would snap while filming her morning routine. "Can't you exist more quietly?" And I would hold my breath, literally suffocating myself to make their lives more comfortable. When her stylist cancelled, I became her personal beauty assistant. When her designer clothes needed washing, my hands would crack from the harsh detergents they insisted I use. "Regular soap isn't good enough for Belle's things," Mom would remind me, like I was some kind of stain on their perfect family portrait. The day everything changed started like any other nightmare. Belle had thrown a tantrum because her suede heels had a tiny scuff mark. "This brand sponsors me," she screamed, her face twisted with rage. "They'll think I'm careless." Mom's eyes found mine across the room, cold and calculating. "Get on your knees. Clean them with your shirt. Now." The entire family gathered like vultures watching roadkill. Dad recording with his phone, grinning like he'd discovered comedy gold. My cousin Todd posting it on his story. Uncle Pete and Aunt Marlene whispering jokes like I couldn't hear them. But it was Belle's laugh that broke something inside me. Not her cruel words, not Mom's commands. It was that laugh. Pure, genuine amusement at my suffering. As I dragged my cotton shirt across the dirty suede, Mom turned to Dad with a satisfied smile. "She finally looks like what she is." That night something died in that hallway. But something else was born. A quiet, patient rage that would soon consume everything they thought they'd built. While they celebrated their victory over me, I climbed into the dusty attic where they'd banished my childhood memories. Among the forgotten boxes, I found my old laptop, external drives, and something far more valuable. My family's entire digital history. Photos they'd tried to delete. Messages they thought were private. Documents they assumed I'd never understand. Mom, who bragged about her work with women's dignity nonprofits, had called me human garbage in a text to her sister. Belle, winner of a Humility in Luxury award, had an entire folder of voice messages where she referred to me as the family pet. Dad, neighborhood council leader and self-proclaimed family man, had drunk-dialed his brother describing me as the mistake that keeps on giving. But I wasn't just collecting evidence. I was studying them. Their patterns, their pride points, their deepest fears. Mom's terror of losing her social standing. Belle's obsession with her public image. Dad's desperate need to be respected. They'd spent years learning how to hurt me. Now it was my turn to return the education. 3 weeks after the shoe incident, Belle received an invitation that made her scream with joy. A high-profile PR brunch with her main sponsor. "This is it," she squealed, dancing around the living room. "This could lead to my own product line." Mom beamed with pride. Dad patted Belle's head like she'd just won an Olympic medal. "I'll drive you," I offered quietly. Belle barely looked up from her phone. "Fine, but make sure you polish my heels first. And don't embarrass us by existing too loudly." I nodded, already knowing that by the time we reached that brunch, her entire world would be crashing down. The night before, I'd sent a carefully crafted package to the PR team, the non-profit board that still worshipped Mom's reputation, and a local journalist known for exposing public hypocrisy. No dramatic accusations, no signed confessions. Just a simple link to a private drive with one devastating video compilation. Belle strutted into that brunch like she owned the world. 30 minutes later, she stumbled out looking like she'd seen her own ghost. "What did you do?" she whispered, her perfectly applied makeup running down her cheeks. I looked at her with the same blank expression I'd perfected over months of abuse. "Everything you taught me," I replied. The drive home was silent except for Belle's increasingly frantic phone calls. "There's been a misunderstanding," she kept saying. "Someone edited those videos. My sister is mentally unstable." But the damage was spreading faster than wildfire. By the time we reached home, Mom's phone was buzzing with notifications she was afraid to check. The local news picked up the story first. Influencer caught abusing family member in leaked videos. Then the non-profit board issued a statement distancing themselves from Mom's newly discovered personal conduct. Belle's main sponsor quietly replaced her with a rival influencer. The neighborhood council asked Dad to step down from his leadership position. But public humiliation was just the appetizer. The real feast was watching them turn on each other as their carefully constructed lives crumbled. Belle blamed Mom for raising her wrong. Mom blamed Dad for not controlling the situation. Dad blamed me for manipulating the narrative. None of them took responsibility for the years of cruelty they'd inflicted. Belle lost brand deal after brand deal. Mom's country club revoked her membership. Dad's contractor friends started avoiding him after seeing the leaked footage. Their social circle evaporated overnight, leaving them isolated in the same house where they'd once felt so powerful. The beautiful part: I hadn't even revealed the worst evidence yet. The family financial documents I'd discovered. The tax discrepancies. The charity donations they'd claimed but never made. I kept those as insurance, letting them know through subtle hints that their destruction could go much deeper if they tried to retaliate. A month after the brunch disaster, I hosted a small gathering in our backyard. Nothing fancy. Just 12 people who'd witnessed my humiliation and still treated me with kindness. My old high school teacher, a retired librarian, the mechanic I'd helped write a resume. We shared stories, laughed genuine laughs, and celebrated the simple joy of human connection. From the kitchen window, I could see Mom watching us, her face pale with realization. When I took out the trash later, she was standing in the yard like a lost child. "You humiliated us," she whispered. I looked into those same eyes that had once watched me cry while scrubbing floors. "No," I said calmly. "You did that to yourselves. I just stopped cleaning up after you." She looked at the ground, unable to meet my gaze. "Your sister cries every night." "Good," I replied. "Let her learn what tears feel like. She's your daughter and I was too." The next day, I changed the locks and moved into my own apartment. Nothing luxurious. Just clean, quiet, and mine. The first thing I unpacked wasn't furniture or clothes. It was those stained white sneakers I'd worn the day they made me kneel. Instead of throwing them away, I framed them. Because those shoes represent something they'll never understand. That the person they tried to grind into dirt didn't stay buried. I bloomed right through the cracks they created. Now, every time they look around that empty house, all they see are ghosts of their own cruelty and the silence left behind by the daughter they lost when they chose pride over love. They thought breaking me would make them stronger. Instead, it revealed exactly who they'd always been. Small, bitter people whose only power came from hurting someone who couldn't fight back. But I could fight back. I just chose my battlefield carefully. The girl who once scrubbed their floors now walks on clean ground, while they're left drowning in the mess they made of their own lives. And honestly, that's the most beautiful revenge of all. Subscribe for more stories of quiet revenge and incredible comebacks. Tell us in the comments, what would you have done in this situation?